Here's what's happening. So there's this interesting compound called dopamine, right? And it was once thought that dopamine was related to pleasure, but it's not. Dopamine is all about seeking. It's driving you to seek, right? And so the internet is perfect for this because there's infinite seeking. Instagram is perfect for this because you're continuously going and just there's more to see. But every time you find, you get a little hit from your opioid system. So it's like a slow drip of drugs.
Yeah.
I seek, I find, I seek, I find. And you get looped in, and it's very difficult to break that pattern.
Yeah.
And everybody's had this happen where you're like, I'm going to check my Instagram for a minute. I'll check Twitter for a minute.
Right.
And then it's 30 minutes later, an hour later, and you're still scrolling. This is what's going on. Like, our brain is hardwired to get addicted to stuff like this. And these awesome social media apps know how to manipulate our mind and to take advantage of that. So this is a call to take your brain back. I'm not saying I love this stuff. I absolutely love it, but it has a place, and it's being more aware. Now that you're aware, you can catch yourself and break the pattern. So here's why it's an issue at night in particular. So there was a study done at Rensselaer Polytechnic that found that just 2 hours of your device usage before bed was enough to suppress melatonin secretion. All right. So again, you can pass out
before.
Just being on it 2 hours before, like that span. And so you can go to sleep or pass out, but that doesn't mean you're getting that rejuvenative sleep. So this is why a lot of people are sleeping 8 hours, but they're still tired when they wake up in the morning.
Lethargic.
It's because melatonin is suppressed because they're on their device right before bed. And it's this blue spectrum of light that's shooting out, kind of pouring into your optical sensors.
What if you can stop that spectrum? Is there
shades?
So is there screen protectors? Is there glasses?
There's all of those things. So
now, is that okay then if you have the Band-Aid
it's a hack.
on it?
It's a hack.
It's not the optimal, but it's the better than.
Yes. So absolutely, everybody today can get Flux F.lux. Sorry, F.lux, which basically cools off your screen. Pulls off that.
Do you have that?
Troublesome? Of course. So I've got on my different.
Do you have to see what it looks like, or is it just a film that's like goes over the top?
Yeah.
of it,
So it's a cool app. It does this automatically.
It's an app.
Yeah.
So you just download it on your phone.
Yes.
Oh,
exactly.
I gotta get this. Okay.
Yeah, and it does this automatically based on your time zone.
Oh wow.
And the time of year, all that stuff.
Amazing.
So it pulls out that most troublesome spectrum of light. And so Harvard researchers found that it's not just light exposure; it's the color, and it's the luminance. It's the strength of the light.
Yes.
So green light was like 3 times less impactful to your sleep than blue light in their studies.
Wow.
So cool stuff like that. So Flux, you can get the blue blocking glasses. Basically, they're like sunglasses.
Use those too?
With the orange tint. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've got some
watch
cool
TV
ones.
or something.
Yeah,
or,
like if you're gonna stay up late and watch a movie a little bit later. But the whole thing is to not make that a habit because these are,
of course,
these are hacks. But the best thing is, and this is so important, and especially for our audiences, who are really about taking their life to the next level, and they're missing out on this key component, which is you have to find something that's of greater or equal value to the device. So people, actually connecting with real people.
A book.
Yes.
Something like that, yeah.
Playing games with your kids, talking to your family. You have to find something that fills you up because that addiction is so strong. And that's really the best tool, which is to avoid the screens in the first place.
I don't have that much caffeine, and I almost never drink coffee, except for about a month ago. I started doing some intermittent fasting testing, and so I'll have Bulletproof in the morning.
Yeah.
It's like, what time is it? It's almost 2 o'clock. I still haven't eaten today. And but before, if I'd have like a cappuccino after dinner or something, it would never affect me. Like I never felt like, oh, I'm wired now. Like I could always fall asleep. Yeah. But I'm assuming that it still does something to my brain or my body, even in my system, to not allow me to fully rest. So what is the optimal time how many hours before you sleep should we not have any caffeine?
Got it. And by the way, the hours before with the screen time, 60 to 90 minutes. That's all I recommend. So with the caffeine thing, you just said it perfectly. You can definitely go to sleep, but your nervous system can still be active because caffeine has something called it has a half-life of about 8 hours. So if you have 200 milligrams of caffeine, 8 hours later, 100 is still active in your system.
Wow.
And so this can keep you out of normal stages of REM sleep and deep sleep. All right. So you can be physiologically laying down and think that you're getting 8 hours sleep. And so this study that was done, they gave people caffeine right before bed, 3 hours before bed, and 6 hours before bed. And they found that even 6 hours out was enough to have noticeable, and they use like monitoring systems, measuring their brain waves to find out that, whoa, their sleep is actually getting interrupted because of the caffeine. Your body goes through a process. It's something called thermal regulation. And it does this every night, and we'll just say around 9 p.m. average. It does this process to lower your core body temperature to create the ideal environment for deep sleep.
Yeah.
All right? Your body cools you off to sleep better.
Right.
So you want to support it and not work against it. So here's some simple tips, and it's going to sound a little frosty to some people, but ideally your room temperature is going to be, and this is according to research, what experts say, 62 degrees to 68 degrees
Wow.
for sleeping, all right? And some people are like,
62.
no way. Like my wife is actually, she's from Kenya. So
Wow.
hot climate, no, she's not having that. So I find a happy medium, you know.
So you're at the top. You're at 68, 69,
like
right?
69,
Yeah,
you know. But, and also, you know, our friend Kelly Starrett, Dr. Kelly Starrett, he had a pretty big struggle with this, with being too hot. And he got it cold in the room, but it still was enough, and he didn't want his wife to suffer. So he got something called a chili pad, which basically sits on your side of the bed, and he's like, he swears by it.
Underneath the mattress, or underneath
It's
the
right
sheet.
on top of the mattress. Yeah,
Underneath
right.
the sheet.
Exactly.
But it just keeps you
Yeah.
cool underneath you.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And it's been a game changer for him. You know, so just cooling your body temperature.
Good idea.
Even just 1 degree difference is
huge.
It's huge.
It's huge. Okay, cool. So be cool at night. Doesn't mean you can still, you can still wrap yourself in a big blanket,
get
but
cozy.
just keep the room cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I like that.
Timing your sleep is like timing an investment. If you invest a lot at the wrong time, you're going to get pain.
Mm-hmm.
But if you invest even a little bit at the right time, you get some big rewards. And so according to research, our, quote, money time sleep is between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. And why that is that this is when you're going to get your greatest increase of melatonin, which is going to help you to go through your normal sleep cycle, and the greatest secretion of things like human growth hormone as well. So more recovery, more anabolic growth and development.
Between 10 and 2 a.m.
That's right. Yeah.
is when you should be going to sleep, or that's when you get your
when,
optimal sleep.
Right. If you can get some sleep in that window, and some experts say that it's like twice as much value per hour.
Wow.
Right. So
if you go to bed at 9:30, 9:45,
yeah,
and you're asleep in that window that whole time, that's the optimal time.
Yeah, and people will notice this when they tend to get to bed a little bit earlier. It's just like, wow, I slept really great.
Right.
I see your face. You're like, yeah, when that happens, but it rarely happens. And so that's the kind of money time window. But it's not about being perfect. If this doesn't fit your lifestyle, stack the other conditions, do the other things.
Yes.
Because the timing does matter, because your body's wired up to work with nature.
Yeah.
And only recently can we basically manufacture a second daytime. And our systems, our genes are expecting a night cycle for us to get cozy, to get sleep. But we can throw on the, do the laptop lap dance all night long today, watch YouTube videos and Netflix and be on our social media. But our genes are not different from our ancestors even, 100 years ago, let alone thousands. So this study done with Appalachian State University, they broke exercise up into 3 groups. Group A exercised at 7 a.m. in the morning, Group B 1 p.m., Group C, 7 p.m. at night. Group A spent up to 75% more time in deep anabolic sleep.
Earlier in the morning.
So early in the morning, if you can get a workout in, it doesn't mean it has to be the time you hit the gym. You can work out in the afternoon. But that initial morning activity is important because, going back to our evolutionary biology, it encourages that normal cortisol spike.
So getting up and taking a walk.
Yeah, you could do a power walk. You can do a 4-minute Tabata session.
Yeah.
Do some body weight stuff, or you can do your full workout.
Air squats.
Yes.
Some yoga, stretching, whatever it may be.
You're helping to encourage that
movement.
normal cortisol.
First thing in the morning.
Yeah.
First hour or something.
Yeah, exactly.
3 final questions for you. This was great, so thank you for sharing this with us all. One is, what are you most grateful for in your life recently?
Wow. I'm grateful for my wife. She is my hero, man. She's my best friend, and none of this would be possible without her. She was definitely the catalyst for me to find ways to get better, in every area of my life. Yeah. And I'm just so grateful for her, man. I love her. I love her to pieces.
Wow. How long have you guys been married?
We've been married for almost 9 years. We've been together for 11 years.
Amazing, man. Congrats on that.
Thanks, man.
Next thing is 3 truths. I don't know if you've heard this question me asked before, but at the end, I ask everyone, at the end of the day, if all your books have been erased, all your podcast episodes deleted, and the only thing people had to remember you by was a piece of paper with 3 things that you get to write down. They say what you know to be true about your experience in this world and what you'd pass on to everyone else. Say, this is Shawn Stevenson's 3 truths about life. and how to live it, what would you write down and say?
3. Okay, so the first one would be to be yourself. Be yourself. People don't buy your books, they buy you. People don't listen to your podcast, they listen to you. You know, people connected to people. And the more that you can be you and flesh out all those parts of yourself, the quirky stuff, the funny stuff, the sad stuff, the greatness that you have, just being more of yourself is going to help people to connect with you more. And this reality, this life is really about your relationships. So be yourself. Find a way to find your voice as quickly as possible, because this world can force different voices onto you. Be yourself, and you're gonna be successful.
Okay, so that's number 1.
That's number 1. Okay.
2 more.
All right, number 2. Number 2 would be, this is piggybacking off of that one, the most influential factor on your health and your well-being and your success in life is the quality of your relationships. So make sure that you are mindful of that and seeking out great people to be around, because, you know, you've heard the whole quote, the compilation of the 5 closest people in your life. So make sure that you're investing in that and taking care to have great relationships, because they are, in fact, and there's a study done with Princeton that found that 2 people just talking, and there's a little bit of rapport between us, our brains sync up. You know, our brain waves actually sync up. We're so connected to each other, and you want to make sure that that connection is a good one with people who are uplifting, and you're uplifting to them as well. So be that person, you know, be that person who you would want to be friends with and show up for other people in your life and create great relationships.
Okay, that's 2.
All right. Okay, the last one would be, it's not you are what you eat. It's you are what you eat, drink, breathe, and think. So all of those things literally create physical structure. You know, so just the thoughts that you're predominantly having, the information that you're taking in, literally changes your brain and creates physical structure in your brain. And the food that you eat, wow, food isn't just food, it's information. So you get to choose what kind of data you're providing your cells every single day, and basically to print out cooler copies of yourself, you know, or you can print out some, you know, some crappy copies, you know, it can happen, but you can change that in an instant. So it's you are what you eat, drink, breathe, and think.
I love that. Thanks for that. Before I ask the final question, I want to acknowledge you for a moment, Shawn, for your service and your commitment to healing the world. I love when people are so dedicated to their craft and doing the research and doing the things that are challenging and going above and beyond to learn all the information. You know, obviously you're running a business and you want to sell books and things like that, but I know your heart is so committed to healing people and having them live a healthier, happier, richer, fuller, longer life. And this is, in my opinion, been one of the main components of the last few years that I've just taken on for myself and understood the power of sleep. So I want to acknowledge you for everything you consistently do to serve humanity to live better.
Thank you, man.